Traditional institution in Kano State has joined hands to end the practice of drug abuse in Nigeria, which has reached alarming levels, with the list of addicts and barons increasing by the day. Some concerned organizations say they are prepared to resist this growing trend by sensitizing youth on its dangers across the north. TVC News Kano correspondent Ibrahim Isa reports.
The fight against drug abuse in Nigeria is gaining momentum by the day. The current prevalence of drug and substance abuse in society is a major danger youth, causing many users to lose self-consciousness, develop mental disorders, become addicted, and fall into border hardships. Some northern youth, under the auspices of the Initiative for Community Action Against Drug Abuse, have taken up the war against the social vice and are now engaging the traditional institutions, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, academics, and students across the north. And Kano is their first point of call. They converge on Yusuf Bey Tamasile University to begin a campaign against drug abuse.
The organization has identified several strategies of combating drug abuse in Kano, which involves community-based approach to curtail production, distribution, and consumption.
Once you are not conducting well in a society, you are not behaving well in a society, definitely the society has its own way of segmenting or ruling you out.
Emir of Kano, Aminu Bayero, also attended the program. The Emir gave advice to the students and cited solutions to the problem of drug abuse in the country. We call on youth and women, especially students, to desist from drug and substance abuse because our society frowns at it. Despite a 1999 national drug policy adopted by guard against drug availability, supply and distribution, there is an alarming increase in the number of Nigerians engaged in abuse of drugs and substances. In Nigeria, a population of 30 to 35 million spends approximately 11 million naira and 25 million naira annually on psychotropic drugs and alcoholic beverages, respectively, according to research by the National Library of Medicine of the United States. The abuse of drugs and other substances and associated crime have driven a considerable rise in the number of youth imprisoned in recent years. But these youth plan to travel to the northern states for their campaigns until the menace of drug abuse is reduced to its barest minimum in the region. Ibrahim Isa, TVC News.
In other news, Nigeria is working towards positioning itself amongst top countries with vehicle electrification processes. These follow the validation meeting on the draft National Action Plan for the development of electric vehicles in the country. Lara Afolayan reports.
This national dialogue on anti-corruption is hinged on finding ways the country could strengthen its anti-graft efforts towards good governance. Speakers urged the present administration to take anti-corruption issues very seriously. They see a need to strengthen capacities of anti-graft agencies as well as appoint a substantive chairman for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Government is asked to put in place a robust anti-corruption architecture as well as policies that will drive it.
You have to put in place a very clear policy on how the government intends to strengthen the anti-corruption agency, like EFCC, like ICPC. As you know now, we don't have a substantive chairman for the EFCC. That's not very good for the country, particularly when we all know that the issue of corruption is a big problem.
How will this new administration ensure that the top leadership, the president, sets the tone at the top? What can we do, all stakeholders, to make it difficult, if not impossible, to engage in corruptible transactions?
The public is also advised to set an anti-corruption agenda for the authorities, while attention should also shift to the sub-nationals in the fight against graft. Government is also being told to put in place policies that will drive whistleblowing.
The government have just secured about $800 million from the World Bank, and the issue of corruption in Nigeria is a big problem. Nigeria continue to attract attention because of the corruption issue. The issue of management of palliatives and all that, the issue of corruption cannot be way aside. It has to come up with a clear policy, and that will signal to others, either at the state level or at the local government level.
The dialogue saw the launching of an assessment report on the implementation of Nigeria's international anti-corruption asset recovery commitments, centered around the London anti-corruption commitment which the country made. Lara Folai, TVC News, Abuja.
Elsewhere, Governor Inuwa Yahaya of Gombe State has inaugurated a committee to review the operation of the largest games reserve in Nigeria. Governor Inuwa Yahaya also mandated the committee to assess existing grazing routes and establish modalities to prevent farmer-herder clashes. Larry Adeyemi has more.
The setting up of this 27-member committee on grazing reserves, grazing routes and clashes between farmers and herders is all in a bid to resolve a problem, and it's also to prevent a larger problem in the future. Clashes between farmers and herders have been blamed as a major source of insecurity across many parts of Nigeria. This committee has a mountain of a challenge to climb. There are no illusions about how difficult this task is. Governor Inuwa Yahaya explained that the state government is willing to take the tough decisions to right the wrongs of the past, if only to prevent future conflict and violence.
Anything that was done out of the law will be visited and we shall take action. I will close my eyes at the symbol is of justice and make sure and to prevent appropriate disciplinary action against any person of authority that failed, refused, or neglected to safeguard the gazetted game, grazing, and forest reserves and cattle routes.
The leader of the committee is experienced in managing tough assignments. The retired Assistant Inspector General of Police assured residents of Gombe that his committee would be thorough but fair.
I'm asked to identify the gazetted grazing reserves in Gombe State, the forest reserves, and the cattle routes, and what happened to them over time. I'm going to face this assignment, and I will identify wherever they are, and I'll speak to all stakeholders so that we will know the genesis, what really brought us to where we are today.
Another area under the spotlight is the tertiary education system. 4 visitation panels were inaugurated to assess and make recommendations on state-owned tertiary institutions. Landry Adeyemi, TVC News, Gombe.